Everywhere you look or go, there is a new food craze. And at this moment, a craze that has been going on for years just seems to be getting more and more popular. I am, of course, talking about the craze that is superfoods. My name is Callum Smith, and during this documentary I'm going to be getting to the bottom of superfoods and most importantly finding out what you think. I will be interviewing a health enthusiast, market traders and a former scientist for their balanced views on the matter, and I will also be talking to the general public about their views. So, are superfoods a huge con, or are they really something to get excited about? Let's find out. I first spoke to Roland Stonestreet, a landscape gardener, a father and a superfoods enthusiast.
I guess I eat superfoods because of their well-being, really. I don't do it blindly. I kind of do a bit of research. Believe, as I think people should do, that it should be part of your balanced diet. I guess a healthy lifestyle is something that society tries to encourage, because a healthy population is a good thing and it's productive, especially as there's been a lot of criticism of high sugar foods and things like that in the past, and so I think it's kind of coming full circle. I guess it has to be something that people are encouraged, nudged to do rather than prescribed to do, and so maybe it's a case of putting the message out to people that otherwise aren't getting the message, and so I should think social media obviously nowadays has a role to play in this. But some of the celebrities, so-called, that are following these ideas, people will follow them. So I think it's if it came from necessarily doctors and nurses and general health professionals, it might hit a bit of a brick wall. I think the term superfoods is a passing trend. I think it's the idea of a healthy foods or foodstuffs, or it's something that goes right back through time, and nowadays it's called a superfood, but many of these things were available years ago and for their health benefits, and I think people will still eat them. Other superfoods will be available, and some will fall out of fashion, but I think it'll change its name, but it'll still be recommended that people eat these sort of things.
That was interesting from Roland, but I want to know more, so I decided to go to the Norwich City Centre, where the buzz of the flourishing market offers a wide variety of foods, and everyone has a different opinion. What do you think about superfoods?
Really good. I think superfoods, basically we can live on superfoods. Some of the superfoods I don't like because they cut them with sugar, sulfates. That's a bit of a problem. But mostly, you got like cranberries are superfoods, and you've got quinoa, and you've got loads of different ones, but some of them they're cut in sugars and stuff, so it takes it away a little bit. It's still superfood, but they've had this stuff to preserve it, if you know what I mean, which I don't completely agree with. But superfoods are great.
Well, certainly some superfoods obviously are really good, like the avocados particularly, with all the good oils and good nutritions. But I mean, it's important to have these things as part of a balanced diet, and not just rely on them as a kind of mend-all or a cure-all. So just have these things as a really good injection of good vitamins and minerals into your diet. So yeah, we have particularly avocados at the moment, and at certain times of the year we're able to get the kales, which of course are very rich in iron, and we'll have blueberries, which are a good source of those things. Yeah, so they're the sort of things that we'll tend to have.
Oh dear, I just think I'd like to stick to what we know, normal, like natural foods grown in natural places with like good manure in the land without any loads of chemicals and things. I would think I'd prefer that to superfoods, but each to their own. But me, I just like normal, basic, ordinary food.
Looks like there is still a real mixed response about superfoods. Let's see if former scientist Michael Smith can make things any clearer.
An actual definition is probably quite hard to fix, because I don't think there's anything that's specifically defines superfoods as such, but I think superfoods I would define as being foods which are beneficial in some way to you. I think that food manufacturers sometimes tend to make claims for their foods which are not justified. I think people should be focused on what they're buying and try and think of the beneficial effects of certain foods and realise that a lot of food manufacturers are making claims which are not really justified. Well, I think they are effective, and I think there's a trend nowadays towards being conscious of superfoods and diet and the sort of things that you eat, and it's realised that your health and general well-being depend a lot on what you're eating. I would try and explain to them the error involved in eating the sort of things that they are tending to eat, sort of junk food and so on. Try and point out the benefits that they would get from eating better quality foods that were more beneficial to them. I think people have got to be conscious of the importance of what you eat and your general way of life, and try and do things which are going to be beneficial to them so that they can live to a ripe old age and be as healthy as possible.
Before we wrap things up, let's talk to some members of the general public who had their own thoughts about the matter.
Well, to be fair, I think superfoods are nonsense. I just try and eat healthily where I can, and try to avoid anything too processed. Try to, eat healthily. I mean, that's it really.
I try to eat a healthy diet, and I like to add pulses and chia seeds to a diet, and I like to eat oily fish, and incorporate good healthy food.
I suppose you mean things like kale and maybe like, what's that green sludgy stuff, spirulina, something like that comes from the bottom of a pond. It tastes like the bottom of the pond. It does actually taste like a pond. But I don't know whether I was actually healthier for it, but I did try it because everybody said it was good, and you kind of feel like maybe you're doing something healthy, so I probably would take that. Kale is a bit disgusting, so I probably wouldn't bother with it. Yeah, that's about the only superfoods I can think of really.
The NHS very interestingly describes the term superfood as not an official term, and health claims on superfoods packaging are banned unless supported by scientific evidence. There is a lot of controversy to what constitutes as a superfood. So, in conclusion, I think we have some credible evidence to support the existence of superfoods and the health benefits they have. However, are they worth some of these ridiculous prices? Not so sure. I believe fresh fruit and vegetables grown locally with natural fertilisers do just fine. Always make sure you research thoroughly before splashing out a big amount on something labelled as a superfood.